Hi guys, welcome to another video. In this video, I will be discussing about a clear and detailed study plan for the subject of auditing at both CA, IPCC and inter levels. In this video, we will have an elaborate coverage of which chapters to handle first and which chapters to handle next and go in a line so that you can try and score 60 plus in audit. So what is the secret of scoring high marks? The secret of scoring high marks is to make sure that you write for 100 marks. For you to write the question paper for 100 marks, you need to have a complete understanding of what the syllabus is and also have a great preparation. To make sure that you have a great preparation, we need to have a comprehensive understanding of what forms part of our syllabus. Let us now try and understand in the paper of audit what forms part of our syllabus and how do I break it. I generally go by breaking into 4 parts the syllabus completely so that it's easy for you to take one slot at a time and work on it. As you know, the entire paper is for 100 marks for both IPCC and Inter. Our first and foremost concentration would be on those areas where major part of the questions are going to come from. Roughly around 35 to 40 marks are going to come from your initial chapters which deal with all the basic concepts in audit. Now, since there is a title clash between old and new syllabus with respect to the chapters, I don't want to go exclusively by the chapter number or chapter name. So I'm going by the content name herein. So my part 1 here consists of all these topics ranging roughly from chapters 1 to 8 of the new syllabus, also very much closely in the old syllabus. But if you go by their names, Introduction to Auditing, Audit Planning, Risk Assessment, Audit Evidence, the concept of fraud and standard number 240, the concept of audit sampling and analytical review procedures. This entire bunch of chapters have always accounted to 35 to 40 marks in the exam, and that would be your first point of focus. So when you break down the syllabus into 4 parts, this would be my first part where I'll put all my concentration to go away right from the introduction, because roughly around 14 to 15 standards get covered in this space only. Standard number 200, quality control standard on 220, 300, 320 on materiality. So likewise, most of the basic fundamental standards that are very important from an auditor's perspective are all going to be covered in this part 1. So the stronger you are in part 1, the greater it is beneficial for you, even the multiple choice questions part, because there are a lot of tricky questions that can be asked only from this. Because the second part, which predominantly consists of company audit, the questions will lie between sections 139 to 148. So predominantly, if you're covering part 1 with great comfort, you have almost secured yourself with your first 35 to 40 mark slot. Then I want you to move to part 2. Part 2 essentially is a very scoring, very simple part, because these are again sections. So there are no new things that you can infer and write something on your own. You have to go by the section's content. So the more you have clarity on the section and what its content is, the easier it will be for you to present answers in the exam. So part 2, which is again roughly ranging from 20 to 25 marks, these 3 topics. Company audit, which ranges from sections 139 to 148. Audit reports, the 4 standards, standard number 700, 705, 706 and 701, the 4 important standards of the audit report, and the complete reading of Company Auditor's Report Order 2016. This will be your second part, and by then, if you are able to finish part 1 and part 2, you are almost reaching to 75 to 80 marks of your paper comfortably with great ease. If these two, because this is covering major portion of your syllabus, and mind you, second part will be a little time taking part, because rather than the first part the content is more, in the second part the depth is more. So you need to try and focus, because casual reading of a section or simple reading of a standard will not serve the purpose. You need to be spot on. You need to understand what each section is talking about, what each content is, because even words like and, or, they matter a lot. Also, when it comes to Company Auditor's Report Order, couple of questions in the question paper have been a normal tendency in the. So that is exactly how we need to focus on the entire second part. Company audit, audit report and CARO, that caters to the second part. If you have finished both these, now you can take a little bit of breather, because the major part is done. Having said that, Some compulsory questions are definitely there in the question paper from part 3, wherein I put up all my special audits, wherein you will have government audit, audit of all those individual special entities, right from educational institutions, cinema halls, NGOs, charitable institutions, hotels, hospitals, all that entire list. Plus in the new syllabus we do have the audit of LLPs and cooperative societies. So you might want to focus on that in third part, because that can anywhere range between 6 to 12 marks depending on attempt after attempt, including MCQs, true or false and all. They range between 6 to 12 marks, this piece. Then coming to one of the most lengthiest parts of your syllabus, but which you need to do very shortly, is the vouching and verification part. The old syllabus is called as vouching and verification. In the new syllabus, the same thing is called as audit of items of financial statements. So whatever be that, there are a lot of items individually to be reckoned, but there are my videos on YouTube which you can see the quick revision video. So quick tips on vouching and verification, a video you can see on how to handle the topic. So put a little emphasis on how to do those activities in vouching and verification. There are certain common points that you can mention in every answer, and there are certain ways how you can handle vouching and verification. So take that into consideration and cover these two topics towards the edge. And then come down in the new syllabus, we have a chapter called bank audit, and in the old syllabus we have a company audit 2. So these two chapters towards the end, predominantly once you finish all of these things, you can come down to that chapter. And also audit in computerized environment, wide it's also called the EDP audit in the old syllabus. So you can put these two chapters towards the end, because each chapter has a maximum weightage of 4 to 7 marks, ranging from attempt to attempt, nothing more than that. So I'm not saying give it a miss, but at the same time keep that as your last priority. Also, having said all these things done, now there are certain standards that we haven't covered in this part, because there are certain standards that exclusively get covered separately only. So that is the last category. There are some standards like standard number 250, standard number 550 on related parties, standard number 710 on comparative financial information. There are around 10 standards which don't get covered here, and also in the 7 series, which ultimately towards the end they get covered. So you have to keep a separate portion for that. Now here is a technique for that. You can do one thing, you can parallelly keep a list of those standards and finish one standard a day, or you can keep them towards the end and do it. And there is a history that always questions have come from those standards. Also questions have been asked from schedule 3's presentation aspects. Last time they asked a question on how to present equity. Sometimes they've asked a question on how to present accounts receivable. Sometimes they've asked how to present cash and cash equivalent. So do not forget towards the end to go through the schedule 3 just for the sake of presentation. So presentation of various items in financial statement, that is also an important question in audit. Probably it can range from 3 to 4 marks. Now that's your choice. If you really have an idea, because you do it for accounting sake, you can just revise it before the audit exam and also go. There was a notification in the last attempt excluding 9 standards only for the new syllabus, which I have been putting up here. 260, 265, 330, 402, 450, 540, 600, 620 and 720 have been excluded only for the new syllabus. And then, as I tell you this, 330, though I told you as part of the exclusions here, but I did ask you to cover 330 here, because 330 talks about compliance and substantive procedures, and I believe that's something very fundamental in the concept of audit. So I want you guys to try and read that. So keeping this overview of 4 parts, if you can make a structure. Now I will, once I move aside from the video, we'll have a full picture of this, and you can take a screenshot of that and make sure that you align your plans accordingly. So that's it from my side on this video, guys. If you did understand what this is, you want to share the same kind of a plan to your friends, you can do so. And there are many more updates going to come for IT, EIS, SM and also. So if you're not part of the channel regularly, do subscribe to it, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.